My guest today is the owner and licensed chiropractor at Advanced Chiropractic ICT. Originally from small town Sudan, Kansas, he grew up working on a blueberry farm while playing 4 different sports in high school. He received an academic and basketball scholarship to Southwestern College, where he received his bachelor's degree in biology. From there, he attended and graduated from Cleveland Chiropractic College in December of 2019. My guest graduated magna cum laude, receiving his Doctor of Chiropractic degree. Voted in 2022 top 3 Wichita chiropractors. He enjoys golfing, working out, playing with his dog Mario, and watching sports. Unfortunately, it's the Miami Dolphins in his spare time. He is looking forward to serving his Wichita community. My guest, Dr. Casey Holt.
Hey, glad to be on here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I want you to know I practiced that about 10 times.
Hey, it sounded great. It sounded great. You didn't get enough hick accent in the sedan though. It's sedan.
Sedan. Yeah, you got to throw some in there. Some
right.
sedan.
That's right.
You know what? I want to talk about that actually. Sedan, Kansas.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you always have the call to lead that small town life, or did that kind of grow gradually over time as you got older?
You know, I don't think there was ever a moment where I was like, yeah, I want to stay here for the rest of my life. I love the town. You know, if you're listening to this from Sedan, love you guys. But yeah, no, I had to get out of there. It's there's population about 1,300 people. I graduated with 23 kids. Everybody knows everybody. And there is a great chiropractor there, Dr. Blakemore, and for a town that size, you just need one. So yeah, I was needing to branch out a little bit. But
that's interesting. Yeah. I love that. What's it like working on a blueberry farm? What does that entail?
Man, so I really enjoyed it. I sometimes, especially working inside now on really nice days, like the farm life wasn't too bad, but started when I was in middle school, and I literally just picked blueberries, put them in a bucket, and we'd ship them off to different distributors. We'd have people come out and pick their own buckets and stuff like that. But I started out doing that, worked there for a few years, and then kind of got promoted more into like the management side of stuff and doing fertilizing and trimming, things like that. But it was great. You know, it's hard work. You got your hands dirty. You got free breakfast every morning picking the blueberries. So it's hard to beat that.
Now, was this a family ordeal, or was this something like as a young man in middle school looking for just some side work? So, you know, we do things a little different here in the Midwest when it comes to working age.
Yeah, it kind of was a family deal. My dad worked out there. All of my siblings went out there. The owners of the farm, they actually were from Andover, actually. So, they'd come down a couple times a week to make sure everything was going good. But it was kind of like a whole family operation out there for a while. So now all my younger siblings, everybody are grown up in college and got their real career started. So we're not out there anymore. But yeah, it was the whole crew. So
dang. So no more roots out there at the blueberry farm then.
No roots. You got to pay for them now. So that's the only tough thing. But
that's so crazy. I mean, growing up in the city, I am originally from Seattle, moved here 21, so 2011. I don't think I could ever imagine working out on a farm, but I've done some very hard work and done some stuff out kind of farm adjacent. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, it's a hard life. You don't respect, like, even just berries or whatever it is you may grow. You don't respect the difficulty and like dedication you have to have to the crop, to the land. Like, just you have to be so like invested yourself, like everything in you to grow. And it's not like one of those things you can sit there and half-ass. It's either you're going to do this or you're not going to do it at all.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff out there just, you develop principles and discipline and, getting up at 5 a.m. to, drive out there, 10 miles in the country. And there's a lot of good things that came out of that for sure. So, it's hard work.
Yeah. The 4 sports you played in high school, what were they?
So football, basketball, baseball, and then the 4th one, I was able, my senior year of baseball, the golf coach let me go out for a few tournaments. So we had a phenomenal baseball team my senior year. We were 26-0 state champions, and there were a couple weeks where we'd play some teams we knew we were just gonna um, whoop pretty easily. So
Yeah.
a lot of the starters would sit out and rest, and we'd have some of our JV kids play. So those weeks he let me go out to golf practice and a couple tournaments, and I won a state championship and have some other cool stuff happening with basketball and stuff like that. But one of the things I'm most proud of is I won a JV golf tournament. Uh, Back my senior year. So it was like my second tournament ever, and played 9 holes. And I think I shot like a 41, which if you play golf, that's not that good, but it's good enough to win a JV tournament. So
Hey,
yeah,
let's go. So you were a walk on more or less, just like coach.
exactly.
Did they just need like one more spot, and they knew that you were a golfer, or
Yeah.
like you had been around the team enough, and they all know all the other coaches, and they're like, hey, Holt's good enough. He'll swing
Yeah,
for
they,
you.
they they knew I could at least hit it and be fairly competitive, and so yeah, they invited me out, and so it was a lot of fun doing that. So Um, yeah, and I play a ton of golf now. I'm glad I did it because yeah, it's one of those sports you have to kind of start early if you want
Right.
to.
Let me ask you this: out of all four of those sports, looking back at it now with the knowledge you have of all the bones and muscle, which
Hmm.
one of those were the worst that you played?
Oh, it's got to be football. I had by far the most injuries playing football as a quarterback, so you get you know tossed around all the time, and I have had multiple concussions, a broken hand. There's some other stuff in there too, but yeah, football is definitely a brutal sport, and so yeah, all my doctor's visits, X-rays, kind of got a little briefing, and didn't know I was going to be a chiropractor at the time, but
You were
you
getting used
take
to the whole thing already. You just didn't know it.
exactly,
You were getting
exactly,
training.
yes sir.
Do you have advice for parents who have like children who are in middle school or high school looking at sports and stuff like that, and you're looking at it, in a healthy, long term
Hmm.
standpoint? What is a good sport for a kid to get into that's not going to see those long term effects to their body?
Correct. So that's a good question, and I like to answer this one. So my biggest advice to parents out there with kids is to actually play multiple sports, especially in their younger years. What's happening today a lot is that kids are so focused on one sport. They want to get a college scholarship, they want to go pro, and so they think that they need to do that sport year round. But the problem is you're only doing like one certain movement, or you're kind of trained the same way, whereas if you play different sports, your body adapts to different forces, it builds more tissue resilience. So, and there are studies that support that people that have played multi or the multi-sport athletes are less likely to become injured. So starting young, in middle school, youth, have them mess around, play different sports, move their bodies in different way, and that usually leads to a less likely chance that they get injured in the sport that they love doing, that they eventually want to focus on as they get into their later high school and college years.
I absolutely love that. Get them into multiple sports to
So yep.
let their body feel different movements and motions and figure out what they like to do. I actually, my son, he's 9 now. We tried baseball, wasn't like a thing. Football, he's like, no, I have no desire in any way. Soccer, maybe because he's a runner,
Hmm.
and we started figuring out the running thing. This boy can run forever. We got him into Ninja Warrior class, acrobatics. It is probably one of the greatest things he's ever done. He loves the flips. He loves the like all the cool different things he can do is in
Yeah.
moving and learning how to pull himself up and lift
Yeah.
himself and roll. And I'm really happy we found that one.
Yeah. That's awesome too, because that's one that you're using all sorts of different muscles. You're going to build really good stability, know how to you know balance, and that would be a really good one. Yeah, if he wants to do other sports eventually too, that would train him well, and build up resilience, and you know his muscles and stuff like that too. That's why there's more and more, I think, football players nowadays that are doing like jujitsu and things
Yeah.
like that, because um, you're using your body, you're getting on the ground, and you're having to use your hands and feet and stuff like that that you don't normally
It
So
builds different muscles for sure.
exactly. Yeah.
I've done 2 jujitsu classes. I would really love to really dive into it. I just haven't had the ability to yet. Um, it is the hardest workout I've ever done, and a couple years back before pandemic 2020, I weighed like 205,
Hmm.
all muscle, and I didn't like my flexibility then. I
Yep.
started a company. It did okay. I lost a lot of weight from stress and not knowing how to be an entrepreneur or business owner.
Hmm.
So I shrunk back down to kind of natural weight, 160, 165. And I am excited because I want to try that now. I can go back to that, have the flexibility, be able
Yeah.
to move better. And it was the hardest workout I have ever done is jujitsu. I'm excited to go back to that one. All right. As a was chiropractic the goal when you started college and got your biology degree?
So no, actually, it was at first it was athletic training. So my
Okay.
freshman year, I played basketball at Southwestern. I majored in athletic training to begin with, and quickly found out that was not going to work for me if I wanted to continue playing basketball, which I did because we had our 6 a.m. practices, but I also had to like go help tape ankles for soccer at
Yeah.
4:30 in the morning. You're
Oh God.
studying and doing all this stuff, and it was just way too much. So I did that for about a semester and then switched to biology. So from there, I was kind of like, this could get me a couple different places. I was thinking like PA school, PT school. Chiropractic was never really on my mind. I actually had never been to a chiropractor till I was in college a little down the road. I had a back injury my junior year and started to see our team chiropractor. And that was kind of my first taste of it. And yeah, really got a lot of benefit from it and enjoyed going. And my senior year when I graduated, I took a little gap year and I actually came up here to Wichita to work at a physical therapy clinic. And I applied to PT school. I didn't get in. I got on the wait list, and so had some figuring out to do. And then I somebody that was in my athletic training classes ended up getting accepted to a chiropractor school, and I was like, yeah, go check that out. Went up for a visit and shouted a couple docs around, and I was like, well, I could do as a chiropractor, I can do physical therapy and also do the adjustment. So like, why not do both? So then I ended up applying and got in, and the rest is history. So
Heck yeah.
yeah.
So just kind of not knowing where it was going to go, you knew it could go this way or that way. There's a few
Hmm.
things. When was like the moment where you were like, all right, bones and being the chiropractor, the guy who adjusts people, like when was there a defining moment where like, all right, we'll stick to that instead of navigating? Was there any like particular event that really sparked that?
You know, um, I don't know if there was really any particular event. I think as like especially when I was shadowing Dr. Brett Dops, he's a longtime chiropractor here in Wichita. Great guy, one of my biggest mentors, and I spent weeks kind of just under his wing, and I really liked not only he had so many patients and they're like family to him. It's really cool to see. He's just helped thousands of and thousands of people here in town. And that was great. I also like the business aspect of it. I never really had been around, a business owner and saw how that worked. But, seeing stuff on the back end, I was like, oh, that would be kind of cool to do myself and run a business. And, I just with chiropractic, there's typically more chiropractic business owners than physical therapy business owners. So that was
Really?
another, area where I was like, yeah, that might be better suited to me. So not saying, I mean, there are a bunch of physical therapists that have their own businesses and stuff, but there's a lot too that work for hospitals and so.
That makes sense. So in a market where there is like it is full of other chiropractors in the industry, what are some ways that you have been able to stand out, separate yourself from them? Because if you're going to be in a
Mhm.
pool of all the same talent, why should we pick?
Yeah, so I've kind of developed my niche in some of the PT sports med type stuff. Um, I would say the majority of chiropractors kind of stick to the adjustment and stuff like that, which is
Okay.
fine and it's great and all. But I do enjoy doing soft tissue work like scraping. And I'd say my biggest specialty would be dry needling. Like I have a good amount of patients that come in specifically just for that. So I've had to do, extra training outside of the curriculum
Right.
of chiropractic school. And there's some other certifications that I have too. So um, that would be one thing. I'd like to consider this kind of like a one stop shop. There's people that go to chiropractic just get popped. Well, you can come here, get a little bigger bang for your buck and time. So if you have issues in your neck, but you also have like some plantar fasciitis, we can do
Oh,
some work there and scrape it up or needle. And so that's one thing I think that sets me apart a little bit from some other docs in town that may just pop
awesome.
you and you're out of there. So
What is dry needling? I'm not familiar. You have to explain this
so
one to me.
yeah, so dry needling, and this, people always ask me too, like what the difference between dry needling and acupuncture is. So they are acupuncture needles. They are the
They are
same.
are they different in some way?
They're, I guess, like length, length
Okay.
and thickness of the needle would be maybe a little bit different, but
Okay.
they're called dry needles because you're not getting injected in anything. It's just a solid microfilament needle. And essentially, when we have injuries or you know you develop tension stuff. Maybe it's just like because of posture or being sedentary. We get muscle pain, we get knots, we get those tender spots that
Oh
we can
yeah.
feel, and that'll hurt. They'll restrict range of motion. The needles, we just like I'm able to palpate, feel with my hands where that spot is, and we needle that direct spot. And usually, if you have like a trigger point that causes pain, it limits range of motion, it'll cause what's called a local twitch response. So
Okay.
that basically just like causes a little microspasm, and it helps to release that muscle, and you get a little bit more elasticity in that tissue. It's going to heal, and it's really really effective. So like I'd say the
Huh.
most common place we needle is like shoulders. A lot of you out there have those tightness in your shoulders. You feel like this all the time. You might be working at a
It's just
computer.
rough.
Man, it is a game changer. Like you'd be surprised how many people will come in, we'll adjust them, we'll needle them once, and it's like such a world of difference. So
Okay.
um,
How long have you been doing dry needling? How is that a newer practice or has that been around a while?
I would say it's fairly new. I couldn't tell you exactly when people started doing it. My first exposure was back when I worked at the PT office right after I graduated Southwestern. So that would have been 2015. I feel like it was fairly new at the time. There wasn't too many people doing it, and so my last year of chiropractor school, I did my first certification course, and then I did another one while I was in my first year of practice here. And so I've done it, a couple different techniques. So it's one thing I'm really passionate about. I love to do it, and just seeing great results. It's pretty cool.
I love that. I'll try that. Being a guy who works at the desk constantly, I know that. Like
Hmm.
you were talking about it, I was just like, I have a knot, like right here. I know it's there, and I
Yeah,
press on it all the time, and I'm
yeah,
always constantly digging into it. And
yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean. I want to ask this. You're currently running two locations, correct?
Hmm.
What was the mindset from the first day you opened your first location to now, where you're juggling the two? How different is that?
So, yeah, I mean, I knew when I first started here that I was wanting to, expand. That was kind of like my like 5 year goal is to have, a couple or, another doc to help, run different locations. Cause I, it didn't take me long in Wichita to find out how divisive it was. You got the east side, you got the west side. You don't cross Rock Road if you're on either side, which is still funny to me. I'm like, living in Kansas City 4 years, driving 30 minutes everywhere. It's no big deal. But that's another
That's
story.
another, yeah.
I knew if I wanted to help more people and grow, we'd have to have something on the west side. We'll have something on the east side, and hopefully, eventually downtown or down south in Hayesville. But yeah, so we're fortunate. COVID was a little tricky navigating through. That got us real slow, and then the year after that, we really took off. I had another great chiropractor in here working for me for a little over a year, and he left to open up his own practice. But he was a big reason that we were able to, continue to grow. And I just kind of fell into the Andover spot. It's inside of Teardine Country Club. I'm a member out there, play a lot of golf, and had the owner driving out here, clear out to the west side for treatment. He liked what I did, and hooked me up out there. And so yeah, right now it's just I'm more focused on growing in Andover, and we'll probably eventually want to get outside of the clubhouse. It's been great, but it'll give us a little bit more room to treat more people and have more
Yeah.
people working in there. So I'm hoping within the next couple of years we'll be able to get into a little bigger office out there and see what happens. Definitely need another chiropractor in here soon working
What
so I
is
can
that
support.
like? Right? Having the established two locations, you had a guy in here who helped you really quite a bit, and then he ended up taking off to go start his own thing.
Hmm.
Is that very common, or is it very difficult to say get like a group of three or four chiropractors who all run the same practice and like own the same building? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
is everyone always want to leave? Is it hard to keep someone as like a partner?
I would say it is. I think a lot of us, what the most common thing is for young chiropractors coming out of school, they go associate for a couple years. They, you know, get in the field. They learn a lot of things. They get their hands on people, get better, learn the business. That's a big part of it. And then they want to branch off and start their own. And you can't blame them. It's nice being your own boss and kind of running things the way you want to do. Um, so yeah, it is. Unless work into an agreement like, hey, if you want to stay here, you like it here, you know, work for me for 4 or 5 years, and then we can, maybe let you buy in or become a partner.
Right.
Then that's the way to go. And I hope someday that I can find someone like that, because I think that it would take a lot off my plate and give you a little bit more freedom. Because right now I'm work, work, work. I get a little bit of golf in there every now and again, but
God forbid if you had
um,
a child.
I know, yeah, that's
Excuse me.
yeah. That hopefully won't happen for a few years till I get some help. But yeah, I luckily I enjoy what I do, so I don't feel too stressed out or too overworked. But it will be nice to be able to take a vacation someday. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
we're all
that
working
that's
towards
that's
it.
definitely in the works, trying to find the right person to get in here and someone that's a right fit and the same kind of mindset. And
What's it take for a mindset? Like, what are you looking for in a person when it comes to that?
first off, yeah, just you want somebody that is empathetic and truly cares for each and every patient. I want that's the main thing. People know too. People know if as a patient, if you're in there and you're just kind of in it for the money and get building up just as many patients as you possibly can. I want somebody that's going to do everything they can to help that patient and know when it's somebody that they can't. And then you know you may be better off seeing an orthopedist or physical
Mm,
therapy or somebody that's not afraid to refer out. So that obviously you want someone you can trust and it's going to work hard and um, just want to continue to grow in those aspects.
yeah, absolutely. I can totally understand and agree to that. I was just wondering this, like as you were talking about, like, oh, you may want to go to this sector or whatever. Is there beef between like physical therapy and chiropractors and like, you know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah.
all these different. They're kind of. I want to call them
Uh,
niches. We're gonna call them niches because that's what they
mhm.
are. What is it like when you're trying to build the relationship with those people? Are they like very nose in the air, screw you kind of thing, or are is what's
Yeah,
that?
I'm fortunate. I work. Yeah, obviously, I'm in the same building as physical therapists and know a lot of them, and we get along great. Yeah, I can only do so much. My appointments are around 15 minutes, and if somebody's coming in and they got all these different things, I'm not afraid to say, hey, you're going to be better off with so and so over there. Let's go get you scheduled. In working with physical therapists, I'm able to relate, and I know, when somebody's better off with a chiropractor or better off
Right.
with a PT. So there's not a whole lot of beef there. There's always that too, where um, you know, there's a lot of chiropractors that hate medical doctors, a lot of medical doctors that hate chiropractors. And once again, I've built a pretty good relationship with Westwood Shaw Family Physician, just right over there across the parking lot. I'm fortunate to have some docs over there that trust me and trust what I do, and if they have somebody that comes in with you know a musculoskeletal complaint they think I can handle, they send them over here. So we get some referrals, and that's one thing I'm looking to continue to build on is our relationship with medical doctors, because I don't want I want to erase that stigma of the hate between each other and that it's divided. That medical doctors are extremely necessary for certain
Absolutely.
things. There's nothing wrong with Western medicine to a degree, and then also that chiropractors are wacky and fake doctors. So there's a lot we can do to help many musculoskeletal conditions, like I said.
Right. What are some ways that other chiropractors can go help bridge that gap? What are some advice that you could give them to go out and like, hey,
Yeah,
build those relationships?
just yeah, try to get in there and just show your face. Take them to lunch. I don't want to give too many away of my marketing secrets,
All
but
right, all
no,
right.
no, if they send, the biggest thing is if they send you a patient, or even if you just have a mutual patient, on our intakes. You can see there's a question like, who's your medical provider?
Mm-hmm.
Just write them a quick letter or send them, a postcard or something that says like, thank you for your referral. Here's, I've been treating Miss So and So for this long. We've been doing this, this, and this for her back pain. Let me know if you have any other recommendations, stuff like that. Just to be communicative.
Communicative.
Yes,
There it
yes,
is.
that word. I think that will go a long ways,
Okay.
and once they see that you're not just in there like snap crackle pop and you're doing a little bit more, that will really, um, I think, help with their trust in what you're doing. So
That's good.
yeah.
That's a good piece of advice. There I know that there is kind of that stigma of chiropractors. And one thing that keeps hitting my feed a lot lately is the ring dinger.
Oh boy.
Are you
Yeah.
familiar?
Oh yeah. I'm very familiar with the ring dinger. I've actually never
What is it? Why
uh,
are people like going crazy? I
had it
cannot
done.
stop
So
watching that, like the
yeah.
guy doing it.
So that's the thing, and
Oh,
that's it's I so the ring dinger. If you haven't seen it, you ought to go YouTube ring dinger. But usually they're wrapping a towel kind of around the base of your skull there, and providing a big long axial pole, and you hear a lot of pops usually, and so that's not some. I will say they don't teach you that in chiropractor school in any of the classes. That's something that's like self-taught, or you may go to a seminar or something like that. And
got a little wild there. That
it,
wasn't
yeah,
necessarily in the textbook.
exactly. And so that's why I don't do it. I was never taught that. I can't really say anything like bad about it because I haven't had it done. I wasn't taught it. I don't know of any like major like complications or people reporting anything bad.
Right?
So it looks a little violent.
Scary. It looks
It does. I
scary.
will say that. It's very good clickbait too. I mean, it's one
Oh
thing
yeah.
you can't stop watching. You have to watch at least like 10 times. So I think a lot of those chiropractors are they're out for the clicks, and that's how they kind of grow with their social media stuff. So I mean, can't blame them.
No. Some
But
of
yeah.
them, yeah, the guy I follow, he's definitely on um YouTube, and the ring dinger or whatever, and he like the relief these people get when he gives them the little tug, and
Mhm.
they're, man,
Yeah. I've seen both. I see relief sometimes. I'm like, that look like it hurt. So you can't, it's hard
I
to
don't,
tell,
I
but
want to try it. I can definitely say I
yeah.
want to give it a shot.
See, I don't know. I've contemplated learning that or going somewhere to get taught, because I have a good amount of people that will call in and be like, "Does Dr. Holt do the ring dinger?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." And so I've lost some potential business from it,
Right?
but yeah.
What are some
It's
other
interesting.
trendy things that are happening in the community like that? Because that's not taught. That's something that someone either came up with or just whatever. What are some other trends you see that are either good or bad? It doesn't matter.
I mean, I see like there's just all sorts of like chiropractors that got famous on TikTok for just like the neck cracks and stuff like that. I think that it's a good thing that chiropractors are getting a little bit more recognition now with that. I think that if you're getting a lot of press and you're going viral with all those things, and people start thinking about chiropractors like, ooh, it's like I want to try that, and that helps some of us out. You gotta watch out for there's some cringy ones. They'll get like just the only like young track girls and yoga fans and stuff like that. And
They
that's
know what it
I
is. They
hate
know what they're
that.
doing.
Yeah, it's like people like my buddies will dog on me and stuff like that. I hate I don't want to be like that statement. It's like no, it's like we treat everybody, and it's not like that. I don't want it to be made out as like the creepy profession, but I think that to some extent it's got a little carried away. But I see a lot of that going on. I don't think of what else, but I mean, I myself enjoy the popping videos. I think the funniest thing is though, have you seen the ones where it's the guys that like mimic or
And there's
chiropractors
like they got the
chiropractors do
cardboard and they're
like
just
those are hilarious, and like I laugh. I like everybody will send me those or DM me those,
yeah,
and they honestly they don't get old. Like I always have a good chuckle.
those
So
are funny.
yeah, those are really funny.
Man. All right, our paths crossed in B&I networking. Um, you've even talked about networking across the street.
Mhm.
What has that done for your business, the power of networking with individuals?
Yeah, a lot. And I told you before we started. I think the main thing, me personally, I've always been very nervous to talk in front of people. My heart rate would go crazy. I get red in the face, get sweaty, and I don't feel that so much anymore. With BNI, talking every week in front of 20, 30 people, and doing some of the other stuff. That's helped my self confidence because I want to, I feel like I know my stuff, but the, actually delivering the message I want to has taken some practice and getting out in front of people. But, it's done a lot for me personally in business too. I have, like I said, have gone to medical doctors that have done a lot of events at, golf tournaments, some gyms and things like that to try to get myself out there. And I think the more people the better for sure. So, if that's part of growing a business, I think is if you want to be successful, that's a big one is being having the confidence and being social. So
Yeah, I mean, your network is absolutely your net worth as you continue to
yes,
grow. And
yep,
it's one of those things like, especially for new entrepreneurs, you're going to have some friends around you who are going to be very negative at first about it, like when you're trying to go out and meet new people. And if you surround yourself with those individuals that you're networking with, business people, and you start to shed away, like it becomes so much easier,
yeah.
right? Like, you're going every week, you're being more comfortable in front of these people for asking or presenting your 60-second commercial, or even if it's doing a 10-minute presentation about who you are as an individual. You know what I mean? What are three tips that you would give somebody who's new to networking?
To networking.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say step one, man, just get out there. It's gonna be uncomfortable at first. Like,
Yes.
I still like occasionally, like if I go to a meeting, there's gonna be like some awkward moments, but the thing is, everybody is gonna feel that way at some point. So yeah, that's step one, just getting out there. Two, I would say, um, you know, make sure you like show interest in the people that you meet, like make it about them more.
Yes.
How can I help you grow your business, and how can I get you more referrals, or whoever it may be? Because me personally, if somebody refers me a patient or whatever, I'm like, okay, like I need to like see how can I get you back, because that means a lot to me. So that's two. Three, what is number three? I would just say be consistent too.
Mm,
Consistency is
yes.
definitely key. And when I first especially started the BNI meetings, I felt all those things. I felt a little awkward and like I was like, man, I could be doing a lot with this hour and a half, and so my attendance at first wasn't very good. And guess what? I wasn't getting that many referrals. And then once
Oh,
I
what?
started being more involved and trying to help out other people and being on time and all those things and you get your schedule down and you stick to it. That's a big one. Is just always being consistent because you don't ever see results right away unless you're just extremely lucky. So you just got to keep hammering away, and I think that's every like with all things businesses is just stick with it. So
That's absolutely good advice. The
yeah,
consistency is key to everything that we do. I mean, doesn't matter how many times you fail. You got to
yeah,
if you stop, then you'll never get to the goal that you had in the first place. You
right.
have to be consistent. If you were to open that door and see 18-year-old self on the other side of it, looking him dead in the eyes,
Yep.
what is the advice you'd give that young man?
I'd say cut your Justin Bieber hair immediately. Let's get that out of here. And but no, I tell him
That was hilarious.
I would I was fortunate. I think I was raised by great family, and I like where I'm at now. There's some little things in there, but I just say keep working hard. Study hard, and just keep going. It's stick through the tough times. Um, but yeah,
Hell yeah,
so
that's a good one. Well, this has been an amazing second episode, and I couldn't have asked for a better guest. I want to thank you for coming on here. I give a shout out to where anyone can find you.
You can find me. I'm on Instagram, Advanced Chiro ICT. Facebook. We're working on becoming more active on
It's
Facebook.
yeah,
But website advanced chiroict.com. That's got all of our info, all of our treatment options, things like that. And then yeah, we're located out west, just next to the Genesis West Wichita Family Physicians on Central and Tyler, and then out east inside of Teradyne Country Club. So got spots available for both sides of town. Fine.
hell
So
yeah, I love it. Good
yep.
stuff, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate you. Yep.
absolutely. In another episode down, God damn it.